Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our second Geffen webinar. Today we're going to talk about our brand new 300 megahertz audio-video HDMI 2.0 matrix family, which is an exciting project that I've been working on for a while. So I'm very happy and honored to be able to present it to you. I think if anyone was here for our last webinar, we talked about the gap between AV and IT, and today we're going to talk about another gap. I think I also mentioned last week that I came out of the whole AV world, and I don't know if you're old enough to remember what AV stood for. It was not audio video, it was audio visual. And I think mainly we had audio, old wall and sack tape recorders, and we had our crew of nerds that went around with little carts and 16 millimeter film projectors and set up the carts in the classroom so people could see pictures and hear sounds. And it was a lot of fun back then. You were kind of a techie. This was visual. This was the old overhead projectors and film strip projectors and God only knows what. This was the pre-video days. Film was where it was at. So you had typically a 16 millimeter projector and a tape recorder. If you wanted a home audio system then, this is kind of what it looked like. You got yourself a piano, or maybe for those on a more modest budget, you got a guitar, and you made music, and that was how you had music at home. And a little later on, things got very sophisticated, and you could actually buy recorded music, and that got better and better. And this isn't my house, but this was kind of like what a home stereo system looked like back in those days. You guys will probably notice that there's something significantly missing that most of you probably have in your system these days. And I'm not talking about the DVD player. But we had hi-fi, we had stereo, we had speakers and records and tape machines, and it was all good. And then we got into the digital age, and things got even more sophisticated. I don't know if any of you had anything like this, and then we got even more sophisticated. We got into home video, and that was home theater back in the day. And then suddenly television came along, and our world's changed. We now had a box in the corner that we could see what was happening around the world, and finally it all sort of came together, and people started setting up what we called the home theater, which was something like that old 16 millimeter projector, but a little bit more integration. But there was still something missing, and that something missing was that we had audio and we had video, and somehow or another there was a wall between audio and video, and they weren't really connected. You had audio distribution, which was typically done with an audio distribution system with audio sources and feeding into an audio distribution platform with maybe volume controls in each room and speakers. And you had video. And this is Geffen's latest video matrix, 8 HDMI sources and 8 HDMI displays. But there's still something missing. So finally, we get down to it. And this is very exciting. But Geffen has a new offering. And finally, it's here. Finally, Geffen puts it all together with the new 4K 8x8 matrix for HDMI 2.0 with separate audio routing and down mixing. This is finally the product that puts it all together. So looking at the back of this, we have 8 300 megahertz HDMI 2.0 inputs with HDCP 2.2. We have, in addition, 4 audio inputs, 2 analog inputs, and 2 coax optical inputs. And we have 8 HDBaseT 2.0 outputs, and we'll talk a little bit more about those, but full HDBaseT 2.0 implementation. We also have a local HDMI output with ARC, and in addition to all that, we have 8 stereo audio outputs. And we have IP control and RS-232 control, RS-232 control. And so finally, Geffen gets it right. And I think I've been looking for a product like this for a long time, and nobody's really put all these things together into a single package. So we'll go through some of the components, some of the things that are here, and why this is exciting. First of all, we have HDCP 2.2, and as you're probably all aware, it's here. It's on any new 4K premium content. It's on Dish 4K. It's on the new DirecTV 4K service. This is a fundamental hardware change. This is not a firmware upgrade. If you don't have HDCP 2.2 capability, then you're not going to be able to pass video from any of these new 4K sources to your displays. So want to mention that if you bought a new 4K TV, the 4K TV may not even pass HDCP 2.2. Most of the older AV receivers, matrix switchers, a lot of the equipment that people have bought in the past are not ready for HDCP 2.2, but this new Geffen matrix line is ready. There are 3 models in the series. The first model is our EXT UHD 88, which is a basic 8x8 matrix with HDCP 2.2, support for 4K UHD video, HDR, high dynamic range, all of the HDMI 2.0 features with 8 inputs and 8 outputs, IP control and RS-232 control. Then stepping up from there, we have a new model, the GEF UHD 89 HBT2. This adds 8 HDBaseT outputs, in addition 1 local output. So this is a 8 input, 9 output matrix with including receivers. And then finally, the one that I'm really excited about is the new HDBaseT with audio matrix, which is the GEF UHDA 898 HBT2. So this is the latest generation, and with our new receivers, we're moving to HDBaseT 2.0. So you've got HDBaseT 2.0, you've got Ethernet, RS-232, IR in and out. We've got a ultra low profile 0.7 inch high case with the locking HDMI connector. And this is for the HDBaseT version. And then for the audio version, we've added local audio output and input, optical in, optical out, analog output, ARC support, so any of your remote displays can be an audio source. that can be distributed throughout the system. So we support Dolby True HD and DTS decoding. Again, Ethernet RS-232 and two-way IR on the receiver. And the next big feature is our new web GUI. I think if some of you have looked at the MFP and the CU LAN, you've seen that Geffen has made huge strides in web graphics. Thank you, Jason. And this is no exception. We have a new graphical web user interface that really puts everything up on the screen, lets you operate the system with your standard 8x8 video, plus your additional audio outputs, your additional audio inputs. So this is actually an 8x8, 8x9 video matrix with a 21x19 audio matrix on top of it. For the basic model, we have a very simple user interface. You can simply select which points you want to connect, and they can be connected. We have presets that are available from the web GUI, and we also have the ability to mask any input if you want to block that video from showing up. With the HD-based model, we've added a local output, and otherwise pretty much the same user interface. And then when you get to the UHDA version, we now have AV routing that's built in, plus AV breakaway routing. So you can route your audio separately from your video. And this is full integration with your HDMI videos. So you can now take an analog audio source and embed it in the HDMI signal going to a display. Or you can take the audio from an HDMI source and you can send that to your analog outputs. So you can have video from one source, audio from a different source, playing back either through a display or through the local inputs and outputs. Again, like I said, with an 8x9 video matrix, plus at no extra charge, you get a 21x17 audio matrix. And 16 presets. We have signal quality monitoring. We're now able to get signal quality status from the HD-based T signal, and that comes back to the user interface. So you'll see signals if you indications if you have a channel that has a source that's not connected, you have a display that's turned off, you have an HDCP connection that's not working. This all shows up in your user interface. Volume control for each of your outputs, plus ARC routing. So each of your remote sources, like we said, has ARC. So if you have a smart TV in the game room and you're watching Netflix and you want to distribute that audio throughout the house, you can select ARC from any of those displays and bring it back through other displays or through the speakers. We also have balloon help, so anytime you hover over a function, it will tell you what the options are there. Again, wanted to kind of emphasize this whole audio embedding and de-embedding feature. The fact that we can decode HDMI audio to analog. You can have simultaneous multi-channel audio in the rooms that are set up for multi-channel audio, and still get a stereo down mix in other locations. So you can have the movie playing in the theater in full Dolby Atmos and still have two-channel version of that soundtrack playing in the bathroom next to the theater. So you can embed, de-embed, encode, de-encode ARC from the local source or ARC from any of the remote sources. So we finally have a full integration of all of your audio and all of your video. And I think people are noticing, I certainly noticed that in the past couple of years, that more and more of your audio sources are really video sources. Your computers, your iPhones, iPads, Blu-ray players, DVD players, satellite boxes, cable boxes. Um, those are all um, sources that people are using as audio sources, but they're actually video as well. So instead of having to choose between setting them up as a video source or setting them up as an audio source, now you can have both. So this really simplifies design, and we'll talk about some applications in a moment, for home theater, distributed AV, for hospitality, sports bars, restaurants, um, any place where you have a combination of video displays and audio zones. This gives you complete control. In addition to having a matrix for audio and video, these routers, matrices also have independent IR routing. So you can now decide from any local display, you can decide where your IR is going. Is it going to the source? Is it going to a different source? We can set up the ability to switch sources in presets, so your IR is controlled independently. There's also a lot of new information and status updates that are coming out. For example, there's a video status page to make troubleshooting easier. For each one of your inputs, you can see what your video signal looks like. You can see what mode you're in, and you can look at all your outputs. You can see what they're doing. So you can tell at a glance if things are not working according to the way they should, or if you just want to check up and see how the system is doing, you can see at a glance all of your video and audio status. Another great new feature is we can name all the inputs and outputs. So you don't have to be trying to remember what video 1 or output C is. You can now give them all names, and those names will show up on any of your presets, or you can use those names to refer to displays and to sources and to audio sources. In addition, we talked about the flexible AV. We have very flexible down mixing modes. You can now select for each output what input you want, what kind of audio you want. You want automatic down mix, you want stereo down mix, and how do you want to react to all the different types of signals? If you have Dolby AC3, do you want to feed it through as AC3, or do you want to down mix it to stereo? And these are available for all of your multi-channel modes and for all of your outputs. We also have control over HD-base-T functions. You can set each channel to either normal distance, so your 100-meter HD-base-T, or we have 150-meter long-reach HD-base-T at 1080p, which you can select if you like. And you can also configure your IR to either drop carrier, insert carrier, in both directions. So very flexible IR controls. And also audio return. I think we mentioned that each of your HD-base-T receivers has ARC and also has an optical audio input to the system, and you can select here for each room whether your audio is coming from ARC or coming from your local input. So you can either use a TV as an audio source, or you can have a local audio source in each room connected through the HD-base-T link. Remember, HD-base-T 2.0 now has bidirectional audio in addition to ARC and HDMI audio. So we have additional audio channels with the new HD-base-T standard. And you can select the split of inputs as well as your local audio. Very flexible EDID modes. You have a bunch of different EDIDs. You can internal EDIDs, external from the display. You can customize EDIDs using Geffen Synergy. You can lock the EDIDs if you don't want them to change when the display changes. And so EDID mode selection is very flexible. We also have network settings. We're supporting both TCP and UDP. You can select the HCP on and off. You can select your logins, and you can operate. You can select how discovery works. Again, like all the Geffen's new IP products, this features IP discovery. So finding your IP devices on your network should no longer be a problem. Setting the IP address to the one that you want to use is no longer a matter of changing all the settings on your computer, logging into the device, changing the settings to match your network, then going back to your computer and changing your settings back, and then going back to your network. So now it's all a one-step process through Synergy. We also have system settings adjustments. You can select RS-232 feedback. If you're working with a true two-way system like a Crestron or a high-end control system, you will get feedback whenever status changes from any location. If you're dealing with a one-way control system, you can turn that feedback off to reduce traffic. You can control the display brightness. And another feature that I think a lot of people have been looking for, we have the ability to download your entire file to an XML file and store it on your PC. So all of your configuration settings can be downloaded. You can edit that file if you need to. You can copy it to a new unit. You can replicate these switches. If you have a custom setup for a classroom and you're doing multiple classrooms, you can just copy the setup from one to many, and you can restore that configuration if for any reason you need to take a matrix out of service or replace it. You can download the settings and restore that file and be right back where you started. You can also go to factory default from the screen. So why did we do this? There are a lot of applications. Again, going to basic structure, basic 8x8 matrix, 8 HDMI inputs, 8 HDMI outputs, IP RS-232 and IR control, stepping up with the HD-base-T outputs, which not only give you your extension over Cat5, but also give you control and Ethernet. Look at this again, basic matrix with an external control system, adding your HD-base-T links, and finally adding audio. So now you have your video sources, whether they're Blu-ray players, cable boxes, satellite boxes, computers, signage players, and so on. You have your 4 additional audio sources, which can be either analog or digital sources. Your HD-base-T outputs, your external control, local output with ARC, and then you have your audio outputs, which can go to a multi-channel amplifier and go to speakers in various locations. And in addition, like we said, from your local HD-base-T, we also have audio output and audio input. So very flexible system. Certainly, if you're doing a home theater, home AV distribution, this allows access to all of your audio and video sources in any room, at any time, at any place in the house. It allows you to hear the audio even in areas where there is no video, and that can either be a separate audio source or that can be the audio from one of your video sources. This gives you the ability, because we have the down mixing built into the matrix, you can have simultaneous multi-channel audio and 2-channel audio at the same time. With many systems, you can you control your audio by controlling your EDID. So typically, if you want to feed 2-channel audio, you send an EDID to your source that says, send this with 2-channel audio. That gives you a nice stereo mix, but it also means that you have no multi-channel in your theater. If you select multi-channel in your theater and your audio sources aren't capable of decoding, you'll get no audio in the 2-channel zones, or maybe you'll just get a center channel, or worse, you'll just get left and right with no center channel. That sounds pretty terrible. But this lets you have both downmix and multi-channel simultaneously. Extension over Category 6 cable at 4K resolution, so you've got your full 4K 300 megahertz video over Cat6, and like I said, full integration with external control systems. So this should be natural for the home theater, home AV distribution market. Another market is retail. You have multiple displays, multiple zones of audio content, need to bring audio from the signage to your audience in some places and have background audio or other channels of audio in other places, integrate background music, announcements, and since this is an HD-based T system, reconfiguring your system and your space is really simple because you just have to run Category 6 cable and set it up via the web GUI or by using a preset. You can completely reconfigure the system almost instantly. Another really natural application is for sports bars. We have multiple screens, multiple audio zones. This will fully support your 4K content. You can have different content on different screens. You can integrate your audio selections for the bar area, the restaurant, the lobby, private dining rooms, for the kitchen. You can have background music playing in the restaurant while you're playing the sports channels in the bar. You can have announcements playing in the lobby. If there's a big game going on, you can switch everything so that the game audio and video are played everywhere. Because we have the web GUI, this can be controlled from a tablet, from a PC. Your bar staff can easily operate the system, change channels, change sources, and your presets allow for very easy reconfiguration. So if you're having a private party, you're having dancing at a certain time, or sports events, you can have presets for these things, and anyone can quickly and easily reconfigure the system using a tablet or a PC or an external control system. But the control system clearly isn't necessary in most cases. Another application is for hospitality. Hotels and other venues where you have digital signage. You also have multiple audio zones. You want to be able to do paging through multiple zones, but otherwise have different audio at the registration counter, in the lobby, by the bar, by the restaurant. Have different signage, be able to change that. And again, full support for 4K resolution. As I mentioned earlier, the product is fully compatible with Geffen Synergy. So our new discovery tool will enable you to find Geffen Matrix and other products on the network, easily reconfigure the device, set the IP address, and do all configuration through Synergy. So this is a really exciting product. I'm excited about it. I think we'll open it to questions and answers. And